What it do, my dudes? We're gonna see if we can get a little high on a little high point, you know what I'm saying here, boys? 2024 High Point DLC Pro Motocross track for MX vs ATV Legends. Big thing we're gonna be doing in this video is trying to compare this track to last year's High Point. Okay? Don't know why that corner gets so narrow right there. I have no idea. Alright. So I just rode on last year's track just to try to give us a bit of a comparison here. The first quarter of the track right here is exactly the same. Literally to a Turley tea-sipping turkey tea. It is exactly the same. Oh, MX vs ATV. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. It's like literally the point where I can't tell if I'm on the 2024, like the new High Point, or if I'm on the High Point you guys came out with last year for this DLC. Am I on the new one here, MX vs ATV? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Whatever the hell you're doing different, it is micro. It is micro, dude. I haven't felt a single difference yet. Like, what? Did you literally just copy and paste your DLC track from last year? Money print machine? What is this, dog? What is this, dog? Don't make Spency boy get back into Rant boy. Don't start all that. We don't need all that, broski. Oh, man. Look how small they made that, too. Bro, I literally can't tell a difference in this track and last year. Let me just go to last year's, just to give you the direct comparison, okay? All right, so time trial, just like, let me go to last year's. We were just on 2024 High Point, okay? Let's go right on up here, 2023 High Point. Okay. No ghost. Morning, we'll go to the same time of day effect and all that shit. Oh, this DLC is not worth it. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. So, what's making it look different right off the bat is the lighting. They've done a little bit, even though they're both morning time of day, it's like slightly different of a lighting effect. Like the newer one's got more shadows and shading. But again, that's graphical. That is not even on track, you know, changes. You know, we're starting to get into some milestone shit here, MX vs ATV. If you're only changing graphical things from DLC to DLC, all this right through here is exactly the same. I mean, if they're doing anything, it's like, you know, make a berm like 2% taller in one corner, or make a roller section 5% more peaked. Like, it's so micro, you can't even really tell. Like, you literally can't even really tell that it's different. Like, if you were able to somehow get the same lighting effect of the newer track on the older track, I'm telling you, it would be like basically indistinguishable. But that right there is what's making it look a little bit different. So yeah, this might be the least amount of changes. Of course, I haven't even looked at some of the tracks in this 2024 DLC yet, but from what I've seen so far, this is one of the least amount of changes to the next year of DLC track that I maybe have ever seen in my life. And I'm not exaggerating that, bro. We are not exaggerating that out here, bro. Like, really? I mean, it's like, damn, man. I don't know how much more lazy it can get. It's almost like MX vs ATV is looking at it like, well, you know, some of the tracks that didn't really have like a change section on them, then we're just not going to do anything with it. Meanwhile, it should be having scaling changes, you know, rut placement changes. You know what I'm saying? It should be having all kinds of changes. Like, even if it's the exact same track map, you know, there is still about 420 different things you can do with it to make it a different track. Same way at the MX Simulator RF Pro motocross track, same way with any of that shit. Okay? But I'm just telling you right now, this high point is basically literally exactly the same. I remember riding on the Hangtown 2024 that I did a video on. It was a little bit different because it actually had some different like sections from the previous year. You know, it had that real long straightaway that was a little bit different, but even that track was still pretty similar in all the sections that were the same last year on the track. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't really understand this too. The fact that, like, their Supercross DLC this year, you guys know they made the scaling bigger. It wasn't trying to be, like, hyper-realistic, you know, one-to-one bullshit-ass scaling that has never worked in any motocross game ever. You know, that's why you made the jump scaling and everything bigger on your Supercross DLC. But we get here to your Motocross DLC. This is as tight, tiny, one-to-one little bullshit, weird, what the fuck is this? This is not arcade moto game scaling shit that I have ever seen for moto tracks, man. Look at this fucking... What are you doing right here? Like, bro, is this a trail track? What is the width right here, MX vs. ATV? This is a prime example of a section right here that even if it was the exact same on the track map, 2023 to 2024, you could have and should have widened this whole corner out where you could hit it faster, at least make it some kind of different. I mean, you're literally acting like your track from last year was so great that you're just going to copy and paste it and do the exact same thing the next year. It's not that good, MX vs. ATV. It's not that good, dog. This is that weird, micro, small, trying to make it look realistic, but it's a video game. You have to make the scaling bigger or it just feels weird. AKA this track right here. Again, I go back to that. It's never worked every single time they've tried it. It's just never really worked. Like, this track right here don't hold a light to like a reflex custom high point track with bigger, you know, reflex stock track style scaling, like some Razorback scaling or some, you know, some, I don't even like Pine Top scaling or whatever. I know that's the biggest one of reflex, but like that's the kind of scaling you're supposed to have in motocross tracks and arcade moto games. It's been that way since day one, and it's still that way. I don't really understand where this sort of let's try to make it one-to-one hyper-realistic scaling as if it's literally real life. Like, I don't know where that comes from, but they've tried to do it on arcade moto games. They've tried to do it on some of those MXGP games, made those games boring as fuck. You're barely coming off the ground, okay? They've tried to do it with like RF MX Simulator tracks. It still doesn't work. They've tried to do it on some MX Bikes tracks. Still doesn't work. You have to have your scaling bare minimum 25% bigger than like it would be to the size of the bike compared to like real life. Bare minimum, it's got to be 25% bigger than that. It's even better when it's more like 30 to 50, but 25's like bare minimum. This right here is basically one-to-one scaling. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And just how tight they're curving the corners, too. Like, it's making all these jump sections feel weird because you feel like the track's not elongated enough on the actual jump sections to the point where it feels like you're on like some weird super tight like super motocross track or something more than like a national track in a motocross game. You see what I'm saying? That's the vibe that this gives you right here. You see? So yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but yeah, this track in particular is basically literally the exacto same shit. I mean, exacto, bro. Like, you're hitting everything the exact same. You're basically hitting all the ruts and the The line's the exact same. But like that jump right there, the fact you can triple in onto this right here, that's just like not even built right. Like there's times where you get the scaling so small, and I'm pretty sure I complained about this on last year's outdoor tracks, but they just have the exact same copy and pasted shit. So my opinion still holds on it. If you don't change the tracks any, it's gonna be the same shit. But it's almost insult to injury, because on top of that, then you've just copy and pasted the shitty scaling from last year. Oh boy. Oh boy.